Nije te još pozvala.
A, pa onda što ne. Ok. Slabo govori engleski jezik. Ok.
No, not yet.
Please.
Kaže not yet.
Not yet.
You can start now.
You can start now.
Evo.
Počni da govoriš.
You can start.
Good day and evening, dear Dr. Supriya and Dr. Supriya, ladies and gentlemen, Excellence, eminent science, university professor, representative in international organization, guest and honor, dear students. I'm Jelena Bošković, academician, University Full Professor Belgrade, Metropolitan University, Serbia, and today. I will present with special paper entitled What We Expected from Science in the 21st Century. I have special thanks for the invitation to be a guest speaker and extended my warm regards to Dr. Supriya Kumarvalan, the organizer of this important web meeting. Scientific achieving should be for the behalf of humanity, not against and ethical rule of science. We have witnessed how much science has been misused for profit and certain social group, especially if you consider the former importance of atomic physics and compare with genetic immeasurable today. With the combination of genes with different scientific technique, a rich individual can destroy everything the critical created through the development of civilization. And in the end, all scientific progress is lost. Never in the history of human development have such possibility of development biological weapons and keeping the entire planet on the vicious cycle been provided. On this occasion, I address you all because you understanding what is science and education. The presentation represents scientists visually and my scientific and university practice in present multimedia lectures and my discussion. On to inspire we do this science today through the development of humanity. Was it more advanced than is today? I question that require answer, but much untrue has been hidden from humanity, even about science as the main driver or development of civilization. When we talk about science and the 21st century, it will the century of scientific information, which means that science is confined to an exclusive environment. And since the age of the last century, poor public sciences has slow been systematically withdrawn so that it almost not exist. Scientists should be for the well-being of all of us, not against use. Please present. Je dobro sada. Okay. Present. Hello.
You can share your screen. You can share your screen. You have the option.
Yes, my present. Yes.
Do you see?
Do you see? Do you see?
No,
Madam?
no, it's not visible.
No.
Share screen.
Okay, please. Share screen. Okay. Share. That's okay?
It's okay. You
This
can
is
make
now,
a
this is
large
now.
presentation. It's okay. It's visible, but make it large.
Large.
Yes. To be
Oh,
more
yes.
visible. Perfect.
Okay. What do you expect from science in the
The slide, please
21st?
make them large. The slide.
No large.
Okay, you can go further if not.
Okay. I will talk about the importance of natural science, astronomy and cosmology, medicine, genetic engineering, climate change, environmental science, world population growth. We are ready to the 20th century, and it's not yet clear to the vast majority of people that the century is a discursive moment in our history which would be mistake of the future generation in the next thousands or millions of years. The enormous responsibility on the shoulder of several generations will leave 21st century much greater than even in human history. It's not difficult to establish. This is so main with evaluation and construction of civilization in the last few countries, especially in the 20th and first fifth of the 21st century, has gained such power that is now able to destroy not only his species and civilization, but also possible or living things on planet himself is still mostly a beginning of egoism, intolerance, and aggression. It is in this gap between enormous power and small intelligent altruism that graces danger to our survivors live. Important topics are listed in order of importance to list most significant danger to threaten human civilization, some of which were created by men, are part of natural process still do not control. During the 20th century, and particularly our previous couple of decades, research has greatly increased our understanding of the elemental construction of matter, the origin of the universe, the evaluation of life, on the art, the structure and performance of biomolecular, and four more. And in ethical time, the progress that scientists have made has provided enough screen power which enables to vary our live, our future, and our world. The good benefits that science has offered should make us forget that this power have negative consequence. It is element and contributed damage of the earth, natural environment, and it's been warned to construct upon a mass destruction remain the power come the responsibility to use it wisely. Mathematics is a very interesting scientist. Mathematics differ from the other scientist theorem. Its subject is nature. Big mathematics, Pythagoras, Euclid, Hypatia, Roger Bošković, and Getaldich John Nash, etc. Mathematics differ the other science. Progress in mathematics is typically circumstantially perceived by the final public. Its results are believed to be abstract and removed from everyday experience. Today are different to now. However, occasionally of mathematical tools become visible to a broader public. One example is the applying of Gantt prime number for inscription purpose. Sometimes and in much also catch public attention. Example, recent Prof. Fermat, please. Hypatia is beautiful woman mathematics. Please. Prof. of Fermat last theorem, which are to simplify, recited the foremost effective effort of mathematician for quite the 3.5 country. But mathematics is short just peculiarly theorem and occasion popular achievement. Epstein used non-Euclidean geometric development by Riemann with please side with geometry development by Riemann with 19th century for the formulation the theory of relativity. The mass on element.
Change your slide. Sorry, please change your slide. The first slide is just visible.
First slide.
Yes. The slide. PPT, the first slide. Yes. It's just the first slide. Please move the slide, not move. The slide is not moved.
Not move.
Yes, not move. The slide.
She just see the first. Vidi samo prvi.
A vidi samo prvi. I don't know. Pa šta da uradim sada?
Stavi na drugi.
Just go on the slide about your talk.
This slide, Lee.
And click on slide 3.
Click on slide 3.
Tu sa strane.
Koje?
Pa sa strane imaš slajdove.
Gde? Please. Gde? And show, ovo.
Ne.
Pa gde bre, govori?
Pa ne vidim, zato što je...
Please
Koji
moment.
ti je ovo slajd?
Nice.
Koji ti je ovo slajd?
Ne znam.
Vrati ga na prvi.
Čekaj. Ma ja, bože.
Vrati ga na prvi i smanji ga. Smanji ga samo.
Kako da ga smanjim sada? Please,
Pa izađi
please
iz
moment.
njega. Izađi iz njega.
Just click on slide number 3.
Never no, yes, please, moment.
And show.
Please, and moment.
And show.
Pa neka čekaj, neće sada da neće. Please. Ne mogu sad ništa da uradim.
Evo,
But that's okay?
sad na 3. 1, 2, 3.
3.
Okay.
Perfect.
I sad,
Perfect.
i sad.
Take care to change when you talk about 4.
You okay?
4. Yes, great. It's great.
Okay.
It's great.
Let's go science mathematics. Epstein and discussion. Epstein and Euclidean geometry and Professor Fermat mathematics especially. That's and revealed by Fermat last theory of the Prof. of which won him Abel Prize. Big mathematical 20th century is John John Nash in discussion Euclidean geometry. Un esempio applyment diffusion to depth biological of this development of the extension of mathematical theory into the domain of non-linearity. An important example is that the advance in our understanding of turbulence, especially within the context for learning. In my century, mathematics was trapping examination our foundation. Today, we see a singular trend recent advance in computing technology, mathematical model, the event of algorithm and scientific computer become tool remarkably visible for all scientists. They promise to play very important role in future progress science in our life. Physics. The next physics. Over the last 20 years, on knowledge about elementary particulae and their interaction has advanced three-dimensionally. Before the tip of the Second World War, some particulae were now it was no systematic theory example the diversity in their property. Nothing was now about the constitution of neutron and proton. Is a big mathematics and physics scientist Epstein. Measuring instruments were extremely coarse limited their measuring range within 15 years, a full zoo of plus particular and been detected variety, extremely short-lived last project in history. CERN is a much question for civilization discovery Earth. Theoretical physics have made substantial progress in uncovering the principal government and interaction within the past. The speculation of quark was worked out. It can explain many of the regularity among other particular. Perhaps more important, the new ordinary principle include new conservation law, each for various reasons, I believe, very much fundamental physically. Additionally, theoretical manipulation has reduced the number of fundamental forces. Another breakthrough was the experimental demonstration and the existence of antimatter. Antimatter and matter rapidly designated into pure energy through the contact. This was predict ground and provide a supporting current theory and basic law. The two main pillars of 20th century physics, natural philosophy and the Epstein general theory of relativity are mutually incompatible. They are compatible is totally essential for the identical physically, which can be goal driving future theoretical progress for 21st century. 20th century physics has had a fantastic technological impact within the aftermath. The event to atomic bomb is a consequence of the increased knowledge and nuclear physics reactor where development supply electric energy. The spectacular advances were made with the production of ceramic material that exhibit in conductivity and much higher temperature than hitherto believed possible. Interesting discovery physics, a cross-section of 10 compact moon solenoid detector is a much money project set in Switzerland. Moreover, within spectral advancement in production ceramic material and discussion much scientists in the world. The discussion in the world, much money project, human genome, $3 billion. Perhaps next astronomy and cosmology. The Big Bang theory is very interesting. Brother Bogdanovich is mathematician in French in discovery the Big Bang and time beings 1 second in present days. 50 years ago, is absolutely was believed that universe at large was a rather peacefully placed as our perfectly optical observation had always suggested. Never, and the supernova where the soul real events now realize large amount of energy during a comparatively short period of some time. Dramatic scientific discoveries in recent decades captured in picture example 1915 so-called active galaxy were discovered. Next slide. In very interesting quasar ellipton connected in larger scale the constitution of bed of cosmos itself. Very interesting dark energy accelerator ultralight dark development galaxy is a big discovery, is a 20th century week. Very interesting cosmology. Radio, microwave, infrared, ultraviolet, X-ray, gamma ray. Multiverse whirlpool galaxy is interesting investigation our civilization in 21st century. The anatomy, please. The anatomy of black hole. Stephen Hawking is investigation black hole and discussion of scientists NASA. Hubble's telescope sent orbit Earth atmosphere. Communication, period planetary probe went into space, primary food and moon and 12 years and primary satellite. Chemistry. The chemical science made breathtaking advance during the last five decades. They need provided innumerable benefits through a particularly wide selection of application. These include, among other things, nanomaterial, food additive, pharmaceutical, and pesticides, but also novel analytic tools, a study of living matter likewise because development. Today, vitamin supplement play a vital role, publicity health, because that will complement deficiency with the supply or metabolism present by vitamins. Vitamins is very interesting in epidemic or pandemic COVID-19, 20 years. Within 20th century, a completely new class of organic molecule called fluorine was discovered. They belong to a heteronoun style of carbon. Fluorines have football or cigar-like structure. This material with novel, very interesting and possibly useful property. Major progress was also made within the synthesis of tailor-made polymer composite material, ceramic, and number the later were shown to be compatibly superconduction. Recent advances in supramolecular chemistry have already had impression on material design. On the more theoretical side, advances in quantum chemistry with assistance of appreciate computer program has enabled the calculation of electronic design map of molecule, which has greatly increased chemist understanding of the principle determining the soundness and property molecule. Very interesting investigation molecular mechanism. I expression and shorted this point through this deceleration, recovery, productive development, and refinement of technique continuum. Chemistry is very interesting. Nuclear pore complex influenza A and number virus diseases. Chemical events, the 21st as brought. January, transparent food. April, new discovery affect a natural medicine with 1,000 years of history. September, plastic eating waste to save the planet. October, the material trial, eco-friendly plastic from salmon seed, graphite-based, etc. Chemical events that 20th century has brought use. Telescope, bring plastic, October, Nobel Prize, September 2nd, March, a year marked by COVID-19 pandemic is very interesting for medicine science. July, to cut today material, metal-eating bacteria almost invisible fisher. November, the Polish Nobel Prize, the amount made in minutes. International year or period table of chemical element. I now knowledge Mendelian system, future circular calendar. August, Polish Nobel Prize, December, Nobel Prize, much chemistry scientists. The next slide, molecular biology. Molecular biology toward the highest, the 40 biological evidence accumulated in supporting the hypothesis the genes are manufactured from polymer Polymer is gene are heredity units governing the biological transmission of trait from parents or spring are together species. Is history genomic important milestone of history genomic in DNA phase identification, etc., etc. Plant started genomic medicine 22/5 project in medicine. Genomic, very interesting medicine, genomic, transcriptomic, proteomic, metabolic, microbiome is interesting for our medicine, our gene, episome, clinical data, lifestyle data. How does CRISPR-Cas work technology? CRISPR-Cas technology in a Nobel Prize to Dana and Charpentier. CRISPR technology Cas adapted from defense mechanism against virus and bacteria is a very interesting investigation in pathogen relationship, pathogen and host plant, animal and the human population. Cas9, an enzyme using guide RNA living in cut target DNK sequence. This genetic sequence could add in a repairing system out to customize DNA. Please slides. Illustration, CRISPR-Cas technology. A repair pathway, error prone, gene insertion in replacement, gene deletion, mutation, gene correction, gene insertion replacement. Very, very interesting for medicine science, medicine discovery. The scientific number researcher interesting molecular biology. Imamo sequencing, Xenopus oocyte, fractionation, messenger information, RNA, circumars RNA, etc. Transgenic, conditional. Medicine scientist is especially interesting our human population, health cultivar plants and animal. During the second half century, a enormous number of various pharmaceutical and development deployment of antibiotic for treatment of infection diseases. Guess back in war two, but only two were in years. After the war, a number of recent antibiotic substances were discovered and systematically improved. Yes, most interesting human genome project is very, very interesting, etc. Human patient cell. Where and now, research continues to move medical science forward. Some the areas the scientists are working or now include target cancer therapy. Doctors are starting to use a new class of drug called to treat cancer and other diseases. Unlike conventional chemotherapy, which can destroy fast ground health cell, this drug targets specific protein on cancer cell and cause less damage to whole body. HIV treatment stem cell therapy, scientists are working on making human tissue and evolve organ from the same cell. This technique could one day help in treatment ranging from wound healing to prosthetic and replacement liver. Gene therapy is very interesting, especially technology CRISPR and Cas9. A type genetic engineering now as CRISPR gene editing prevent genetic inherited conditions such as heart diseases, leukemia, cystic fibrosis, and hemophilia. Robotic interesting in medicine. Biological evaluation, human evaluation teamline, very interesting establishment as a big subspecialty within biology. The beginning of this era is characteristic by emergence of so-called evolutionary synthesis, also called Neo-Darwin Synthesis. The synthesis for best systematical theory of the essential mechanism of evolution, incorporating the principle up-to-date genetic, where variety, the foremost important theoretical advance, mathematical population genetic occur clear over the last 15 years. Evolutionary biologists have produced a strong number successfully field and laboratory study illustrating evolutionary process testing theoretical hypotheses. History human. Contemporary evolutionary theory, theoretical progress, molecular biology, molecular genetics is a new investigation. Anthropological model based on fossil throughout the human evolutionary tree is interesting. Are scientists and science today? Much I believe today about the future course. Evolution as an example has been shown that emphasizingly rich biological diversity evolution has been rapidly depleted on several occasions, probably thanks of natural destroy and majority impact. Reach into the history of biological species, Homo sapiens, and produce a selection of expected results, and much of mystery still remain. For instance, there seems to possibly be another human species which is now exists, possibly a result of interaction with modern man. Genetic engineering is last year's genetic engineering, we discovered CRISPR technology, Emmanuel Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna, Nobel Prize discovery. The process of manipulating enzyme Cas9 protein use the cut DNA has made genetic engineering much more accessible to people with the right knowledge to solve genetic engineering alone with great knowledge and some equipment possible even at home. The United States and Russia installed atomic weapons. Another 6 countries possesses atomic weapons that still pose the greatest danger to the survival of human and civilization. And true people have almost forgotten the fear of the bomb after the experience of Soviet Union and various nuclear arm control agreement and USSR, there are currently about 20 atomic bombs in the world, United States and Russia. Fortunately for us, only 2 American bombs, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, have been dropped, but there have been about 18 nuclear accidents, of which several dozen just a stop away from a total nuclear war. Is picture nuclear war, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Some scientists, including French Nobel laureate Luc Montagnier, who discovered him, with 2 other scientists believe the COVID is product of genetic engineering, which even if they are wrong, this time is a warning the future holds is wearing. Our luck with COVID-19 is the mortality is not high. Terrorism, COVID virus, and the pathogen numbers terrorism of just stupidity will not be produced, or maybe nature itself will deliver it. Quickly mutating a high mortality virus, which will experiment or people expect maybe a few isolated group before we went magic. Genetic engineering can alter living being. Genetic engineering modify organism by making artificial change its DNA to enhance or modify the characteristic of an organism ranging from virus to plants, fruits, vegetables, and animal, and more bacteria and the human. What is it? Where is it applied? Gene editing, CRISPR technology. How does this work? Is much problem, is future. Advanced science. Perhaps the furthest far reaching inside science development within the previous few decades, the person are serious environmental force in the planet. We inflict irreversible change on the biosphere, biochemical cycle in a world climate system, and there the Earth natural landscape. Ecosystem service. Ecosystem service, water, lead, air, policy, climate, pollution, etc. Ecosystem provide numerous services on which human prosperity ultimately depends. There are many examples: food, purification of water and air, renewal of soil, detoxification and decomposition of waste, raw material for clothing, and medicine, prevention of food and drought, and aesthetically or natural landscape. Climate change, much discussion, 20th century and especially 21st century. Climate risk, events relating today are already there and will be more regular and move toward the middle of this century, when the world's population is expected to grow to 20 billion people, now around 8 billion. But climate change will reduce food production and access to drinking water to about half, which lead to large migration of people in search of food and water. Half a century is expected to survival 100 million people. Very interesting Mediterranean climate change hotspot where vulnerable and accepted is Serbia. Is very, very interesting climate change. Climate change, very, very interesting. Serbia and Balkan regions. Climate change and corporate value. Climate change energy system. COVID-19 destroyed climate change Balkans. The population growth, control population growth, well population percentage China 18.5%, India much people. Malthus theory, principle of population and club of Rome run the limits of growth for the first time dramatically that our planet production billion people. But the middle of the century, the population is expected to grow to slightly less than 10 billion people. This man is interesting resources by talking from future generation. By 2005 world, 10 largest countries are projected to be in Africa. China, India, USA, Russia, Japan, Germany, Indonesia, Brazil, United Kingdom, Italy. Population growth in Africa in project to remain strong through the century. Very, very interesting thing. Population boom and bust. Global population in billion people is possible. Thank you for your attention. My discussion, Science in 21st Century. Thank you very much.